The concept of a Satanic New World Order is often associated with conspiracy theories, but it is essential to examine the underlying ideology and motivations behind the alleged plot to control the global population using the narrative of global warming. Opponents of this theory argue that a small, powerful elite is manipulating the global agenda to impose a totalitarian regime, exploiting the fear of environmental catastrophe to justify their actions. At the heart of this conspiracy theory is the idea that the Satanic New World Order seeks to establish a one-world government, eliminating national sovereignty and individual freedoms. By fabricating a global crisis like climate change, they aim to create a sense of urgency and panic, allowing them to implement radical policies and restrictions on personal liberties. The supposed goal is to concentrate power and wealth in the hands of a few, while the masses are forced to surrender their autonomy and submit to the authority of the New World Order. The alleged architects of this plot, often referred to as the global elite, are said to be using various tactics to manipulate public opinion and shape the narrative around global warming. This includes funding and influencing scientific research, controlling the media, and infiltrating governments and institutions to promote their agenda. By creating a sense of consensus and overwhelming public support for climate action, they aim to silence dissenting voices and opposition, paving the way for the implementation of their totalitarian plans. One of the primary mechanisms for achieving this control is through the imposition of draconian environmental regulations and carbon emission targets. These measures would ostensibly mitigate the effects of global warming, but, in reality, serve to strangle economic growth, restrict individual freedom, and consolidate power in the hands of the ruling elite. The increased reliance on renewable energy sources, for instance, would create new opportunities for the global elite to manipulate and control the energy market, further entrenching their dominance. Another crucial aspect of this conspiracy theory is the role of international organizations and agreements such as the Paris Agreement and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These frameworks are seen as instruments for the Satanic New World Order to impose their will on nations, undermining national sovereignty and paving the way for a one-world government. The emphasis on global cooperation and collective action to address the climate crisis is perceived as a thinly veiled attempt to create a supranational authority, stripping nations of their autonomy and decision-making power. The supposed game of this plot is a dystopian future where the global elite holds absolute power, and the masses are reduced to a state of servitude. The climate change narrative serves as a Trojan horse, allowing the New World Order to incrementally introduce totalitarian measures disguised as necessary responses to an existential crisis. As a population becomes increasingly dependent on the state for survival, the ruling elite would be free to impose their twisted ideology, crushing any form of dissent or opposition. While this narrative may seem far-fetched, it is essential to recognize that the fear of a New World Order is deeply ingrained in the collective psyche of many individuals. The perceived threat of a global elite manipulating the system to control and enslave humanity resonates with those who feel disempowered and disillusioned with the current state of affairs. Whether or not one subscribes to this conspiracy theory, it is undeniable that the global warming narrative has become a powerful tool for shaping public opinion and influencing policy decisions. In conclusion, the idea that the Satanic New World Order is using global warming as a means to control the population is a complex and multifaceted conspiracy theory. While its validity is questionable, it is essential to examine the underlying motivations and ideologies that drive this narrative. By understanding the fears and concerns that underpin this theory, we can better navigate the complexities of the global agenda and make informed decisions about the future of our planet. Ultimately, it is crucial to approach this topic with a critical and nuanced perspective, recognizing both the potential benefits of collective action on climate change and the risks of manipulation and control by those who seek to exploit this narrative for their own purposes.